Hey everyone, welcome to the Pivot Room. I'm Dr. Malika, and if this is your virtual background, I am actually in Grenada. And so you're going to hear a little natural noise maybe in the background, but think of a better place to continue to just provide you with some good information and just gather to share some things with you than on the beach in this beautiful place called Grenada. So listen, every week we gather to have honest conversation about reinvention, leadership, confidence, and what it really takes to thrive in a rapidly changing world. And so today's conversation is one that I believe many of us need to hear. It's called the courage of the beginner. So listen, before we begin, I want you to answer something for me. Okay. When was the last time you truly were a beginner? Like when was the last time you were a true beginner? I'm not talking about downloading your new app. And I'm not talking about, updating your phone. I mean, when was the last time you tried something that totally took you out of your comfort zone? Okay. And maybe it was AI, maybe you started a new business, or maybe it was going back to school, but maybe you also changed careers, as you know I have. Whatever it is, I want you to type it in the comments. I want to know, when was the first time you ever tried something and it made you feel uncomfortable? Tried it for the first time. So while you're writing, I recently came across a quote that stopped me in my tracks. And I read it and I was like, whoa. And I was just, thumbing through the magazine and I saw this and it just captured my attention. And let me see if I can find it. It said, okay, learning to ride a motorcycle in my 40s. Let me see. Learning to ride a motorcycle in my 40s became a lesson in ambition, humility, and the kind of courage that only comes from being a beginner. There it is. So when I read that, I realized this wasn't really about motorcycles. Okay. It's about us. It's about me. I know it made me think about myself. So every one of us has a motorcycle. I don't know what your motorcycle is. For some people, it's learning AI. For others, it's writing your first book, which I have experienced that before. Maybe it's launching your first business. Maybe it's speaking on a stage. Maybe it's changing careers after 50. Maybe it's returning back to college. Like sometimes it's like, you know what, I'm going to go back to school, or I'm going to classes. Um, Saying years after yes of saying no, right? Well, isn't really the story. Being the beginner is. Um, Many of you know that after spending 25 years in higher education, my life changed unexpectedly. Um, like many women, I found myself asking, now what? I could have stayed where I was emotionally. Instead, I became a beginner again. And I learned entrepreneurship. I learned branding. I learned LinkedIn. And then AI entered the picture. And that changed everything. Um, Here's what I did. Here's what it does. It makes experts feel like beginners again, right? So I'm a expert in student affairs, students, right? Motivation, and then comes AI, and now I feel like a beginner all over again. And honestly, that's uncomfortable. Um, it's very uncomfortable. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. Not only do you feel uncomfortable, but something happens in your body when you start to approach something new. So I think most of us, I don't know, I don't think we fear learning. What I do think we fear is looking inexperienced. And we don't like to ask questions. We fear asking questions. We fear making mistakes in front of folks. We fear someone thinking, wait, I thought she knew it. I thought she had it. I thought she knew what she was doing. Now, can I tell you something? Every expert has a beginner story. Every CEO, every physician, okay, every attorney, every pastor, every entrepreneur, every keynote speaker, every AI consultant, there was a first day. And there were first mistakes, and there were embarrassing moments, there were embarrassing questions. The difference isn't talent. That's not the case. It's not that I wasn't talented. It's not that you're not talented. The difference is you got to keep showing up and you got to keep going, right? So, what I want to do today is I want to share with you 4 lessons, right? These are 4 lessons that I believe that every beginner must learn, okay? Number 1, ambition. Ambition just whispers, there's something inside of you. There's something more inside of you. There is something more. Absolutely not. You were meant to move forward, to go after that thing. And every one of us has that thing on the inside of us that's pushing us to do more. Now the question, or the question is, are you going to answer it? Okay. So ambition. I want it. I'm going to go after it. I don't care how I look, but I'm going to pursue it. I'm going to take the classes. I'm going to sit under someone's tutelage. I'm going to get it, but I'm going to go after it. Right. Humility. Lesson number 2. It is the willingness to say, teach me. It's the willingness to say, I don't know what I'm doing. It's the willingness to say that this is something new. This is my first time. And I really want somebody to teach me how to, or to what to do. Teach me. And here's the thing, humility isn't weakness, right? Humility, it's a strength that's under control. So it's not this, I'm weak because I don't know. There's strength in not knowing, but there's also strength in saying, can you help me? Can you teach me? Can you show me? Right? And here's lesson number 3 that I love so much, courage. I've been bouncing this word around several times lately, this idea of taking courage. Um, People tell me I'll do it when I'm confident. I'll start the business when I got it together. And the truth is, that's really not, that's out of order. Confidence comes after courage. Courage comes first. You have to have the courage to step into this thing. You have to have the courage to start the business. You have to have the courage to start writing. You have to have the courage to start, to go to the bank and say, hey, and have that conversation. You have to have the courage to do that. And as you do it, and as you continue to do it, confidence is the reward of taking that step. Um, Courage is a decision. It is a decision that you make, that I am going to do this, right? And it I don't know, I want you to think about that. You've had the courage to do things that you know you can do, but what about the things that are uncomfortable to you, but you know you should do it? It takes courage. It takes courage to make the step. And somebody needs to hear this today, right? Courage. It's so important to be courageous, even in 2026. Listen, everybody's talking about AI and how they're afraid of it. Well, then it takes courage to take some classes. It takes courage to go and tell somebody that you're doing it, right? It takes courage to show people, hey, I want you to check this out. I'm trying something new. It takes courage. And I want to encourage you to step into your courageous self. And then lesson 4 is growth. Growth happens when you take one uncomfortable step at a time. So you have to take the step. You have to take the first step. And then you need to take the second and continue. And every time you choose learning over pride, you become someone new. I am not the same person I was 3 years ago. I am a totally I believe, a different person on the inside because of the steps that I took that were uncomfortable. But there was something about that that changed me. It changed me. It strengthened me. And not only that, for me, I'm able to then help others around me. I'm able to, I want that courage to permeate to the folks around me. I want that. So that growth takes place. And when you grow, you realize it's not just for you, but it's for others. So here's the thing, I love how God works throughout scripture, right? And I'm going to pull a little scripture in here. I want you to think about Moses. He felt inadequate. Think about Gideon. He doubted himself. Think about Peter. He stepped out of the boat without knowing exactly what would happen. And I love this thing when I go back to Moses for a second. Moses had this thing about the way he talked, the way he presented the information. Was he going to show up strong before the people of Israel? Now, I know this isn't Bible study, but I want to give you a sense of another perspective on this idea of being a beginner. Even though his speech was not what he thought it should be, he was the one who was called to do the work. So this is what I love about God. He has a pattern. He doesn't always call the most qualified, but he does call the willing. And so my question is, are you willing? Are you willing to take the steps that you need to take to be able to go out here and be the beginner of something you've never done before, but you know it's what you're called to do? Maybe you're sitting on an idea. It's on the inside of you, it's bubbling. You see other people doing it. You scroll, you take your phone, you take some time and you scroll and you scroll and you scroll and you see ideas and you see businesses pop up and you're like, wait a minute, that was something I was going to do, or that was my idea. And here's the thing. Do it. You know, Isaiah 43:19 says, see, I am doing a new thing. I'm doing something new. New thing requires becoming a beginner again. Can we just sit with that for a second? Sometimes the new thing requires becoming a beginner again. And sometimes you got to start all over, start fresh, start new. So let me ask you, what is your motorcycle? Right? What's the thing you've been avoiding because you're afraid of looking like a beginner? And that's the question. Is it AI? Are you sitting on starting a business because you feel like you don't have the capital? Is it writing your book? Is it going live on LinkedIn? Right? Is it applying for that promotion? Right? Is it having that conversation with your supervisor about something that you want to start? Is it going back to school? Here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to know everything to begin, and you don't. You don't have to know everything. You just have to be willing to begin. Can I say that for the people in the back? You don't have to know everything to get started. You don't. You just need to get started. You need to be willing, because every expert was once a beginner, and every meaningful pivot requires the courage to become one again. It's okay if you don't know. It really is. It's okay if you're contemplating. It really is. I, remember in 2023, many of you know, in 2023, my position was eliminated. I had to start fresh and wasn't quite sure. Knew that being an entrepreneur was on the inside of me, has always been. But how do you do that? How do you get started? What do you do? This is all new to me. Trademarking. I tell the story about trademarking this and trademarking that, and setting up meetings and talking to folks and going live and not going live and taking classes and investing. All of these things were so new to me. Having my own time and then managing that time appropriately so that I could be productive. All of these things are new when you're working the 9 to 5 and you're accustomed to your time being allotted for you. So I begin again. And I never really thought about that until I saw that quote about the motorcycle. And so I want you to be thinking about yourself, right? Think about what it is that you've been doing for a long time, but now you've got to begin again, fresh. It's a little scary, but that's where courage comes in. So, if today's conversation encouraged you, right, I'd love for you to do three things for me. Number one, I want you to share it. I want you to share it with someone who's standing at the edge. I mean, they're like right there. They're like right there at the edge of doing something new. You know somebody who's there's a new beginning right in front of them, and they're standing there because they're scared, and they're texting you for questions, and they're calling you in the middle of the night. They're like, listen, what do you think about this? They're using AI to create ideas, but they're not moving forward with them because they sound good, but it's the beginning for them. So they're like, oh, I'm not sure. I want you to share this with them. The second thing I want you to do is follow me here on LinkedIn so that you don't miss next week's episode of the Pivot Room, right? And then what I want you to do in the comments, I want you to finish this sentence. My motorcycle is. Now finish it. And today I'm choosing courage over comfort. Okay? That's what I want you to do. So I can't wait to read your responses. And I'll leave you with this thought. The opposite of expertise isn't ignorance. It's possibility. It's like there's possibilities out there. So what I want you to do is think this way. I don't want you to let fear of being a beginner keep you from becoming who God created you to be. Like, okay, so you're stepping into something and you don't know it all. That's okay. Because experts started at the beginning and CEOs started at the beginning. Billionaires started at the beginning. Um, and remember, you're not starting over. You're actually pivoting forward. Let me say that again. You're not starting over. You're pivoting forward. Does that make sense? Listen, I'm Dr. Malaika Turner, your reinvention specialist, and I want to thank you for joining me here in the Pivot Room. Happy Wednesday, and we'll see you next week.
Yes.